The truth shall set you free.
You guys can hear me? Yes. Awesome. Well, thank you all so much for being here. Super excited to kick off this very intentional celebratory morning of Black History Month, and I'm so honored to have John and Tonisha here with me. A little bit about myself. My name is Skatara Jefferson, and I work here at Salon Centric. And I'm a part of the influencer team where we manage our lovely roster of It Takes a Pro Team artists. And Tonisha and John are part of the team. So for those who may not know, I'm going to go ahead and have you guys give some background on where you're from, your specialty, and a little bit about you.
How y'all doing this morning? Good. I'm holding this mic like y'all can hear it come out of here, but it's really for the camera, just so y'all know. My name is John Mosley. I'm originally from California, but I currently live in Texas with my beautiful family. My specialty is barber business, branding, marketing, whatever I can help somebody grow and develop.
There we go.
Hey.
There we go. Sorry, guys.
Thank you. We're
So-
back.
So that's my specialty, and you know, development, just finding talent, helping talent grow, understanding the side of the business that a lot of people don't talk about, and getting them to understand how to read contracts, negotiate contracts, and all that. So I try to help as many people as I can, but more importantly, I just like educating. I'm Educator of the Year, NAHA 2022, and so I'm passionate. I'm very passionate about our industry. I come from a long line of beauty pros, from my mother to my sisters, my wife, like everybody, and cousins, uncles, aunts. We all in the beauty profession some way, somehow. And so, you know, we just kind of keep continuing the legacy and doing what we do. So that's me in a nutshell.
Amazing. And Tonisha?
Hey y'all. My name is Tonisha. I'm born and raised in Orlando, Florida. I am a 10-year cosmetologist, and I specialize in pretty much anything transformative when it comes to natural hair, all types of textures. I love color, I love extensions, I love overall hair care. So that's what I push towards my clients, giving Black women an opportunity to see hair do things that we didn't get a chance to see it do growing up. And I think we know what that means. So I feel like my role in the hair industry is to give us what we've been missing for so long. So I am an Aveda graduate. I've been in Orlando my entire career. I originally started school to be on the SWAT team, and then one day I woke up and changed my mind, and now I'm sitting here talking to you guys. So I hope you all know that anything is possible, and it's never too late to start over and do something new if it's more fitting for you. I'm honestly sitting in places that if you would have asked me 15 years ago, I would never told you that I was going to be here right now. I was supposed to be kicking people's doors in, y'all, so here we are.
I'm sitting next to 12? All right, okay.
Yeah. No snitching either.
I ain't gonna say nothing.
Well, amazing. I'm glad everyone could, learn more about you both. And I feel like, just from what I know, you both have so many parallels in your influencing journeys as well as professional careers. So what really was the catalyst for you both to start doing hair? What really inspired that?
I'm gonna let you start out.
Ooh, okay. So I've been an athlete my whole life. I played 6 sports growing up, and so I never had the opportunity to get into cosmetics and to get into glam. So once I went to college in Tallahassee, Florida, I think we all know that's the city to go to college in. But once I got there, I saw such a variety of women, and women that looked like me, doing things that I never got the opportunity to see them do because I wasn't in that world. So I woke up one day and I called my mom and I told her, like, the only thing that excites me to go to class is doing my hair and my makeup. And she said, you need to go to cosmetology school. And the next day I went to cosmetology school. Yeah.
Yo, our story is kind of similar.
Really?
Yeah,
You
but
was
I
about
didn't.
to kick doors in too?
Yeah, until they told me that I had to go to jail, like I had to be in the prison because I was. Yeah, nah. I said nah. I changed my mind. So our story is funny. It's actually pretty similar. I was in college playing college football in California, and I just got tired of getting hit by grown men for free. I was like, yo, this hurt. And so what I decided to do was, since my whole family was in the beauty industry, I looked at my mom and I said, you know what? I want to be a barber. Now, mind you, I was lying. So if you got kids that lie really good, sometimes that lie can't help them. Just don't punish them once they do it and find it out, you know? And so I dropped out of college, basically. And I thought by me telling my mother that I wanted to be a barber, it was going to buy me time to figure out what I really wanted to do. And in less than a week, I was already enrolled in barber school. And I didn't enjoy it. I hated it. I was like, why am I here? This is a lie. And then probably about the 6-month mark, I was like, you know what? My mom, I showed her my work and she said, if you actually put some energy and effort into this, you might be actually really good at this. And that's what turned that corner for me. And at the time, we had to have 750 haircuts to graduate barber college. I finished with over 2,000. So I had started putting in that practice where I wanted to be. I went to the best barbershop in our city, where everybody was like, you know, you ain't gonna survive here, sharks. And I was like, y'all just don't know, you dealing with a bigger shark. And I just put that energy and effort to going to work every day. I worked 7 days a week in the beginning. And then I turned that around and then I started building my clientele to where I got it down to 3 days. And I focused on education. And I started delivering education to the small community colleges, the cosmetology programs that didn't have barbering. And I found that little window where it was like the barbers only cared about the barbers, but the barbers didn't want to give the game back to the cosmetologists, but we wanted the game from them. So I was like, let me go in and I'm gonna give them the game. And now I'm sitting in front of you guys today and my education approach, I speak cosmetology really well as a barber.
Wow, that is so impressive to go from 750 was like the threshold for 700 to be over 2,000. So how did that shift occur? What made you start to fall in love with school?
I'm gonna be honest, I didn't fall in love with the school. I fell in love with what my future could be. And that's what I focused on. I focused on what was my passion and what was my purpose. And the school had nothing to do with that. The school they actually stopped me from cutting hair and wouldn't give me clients because people were waiting in line to get their hair cut by me. And so I started cutting hair and giving the tickets to my friends that didn't have enough haircuts. So I wouldn't get in trouble. I never turned in my own tickets. I gave them to somebody else. And that passion of just wanting to be great, I feel like if you step into anything, your purpose is to be great at whatever you decide to step your position into. And so when I took that position and I just turned that mental snap on, I think, you know, speaking as an athlete, we compete.
Right.
And I want to be the best at whatever I do. So when I show up to a show, I want to be the best at the show. When I show up on stage, I want to be the best on stage. And that's the way I ran my barbering career, and that's what drove me. I wanted to be the best in the school. I started betting people, like, I could do this haircut faster than you. And I was going up against some of the best in the school, and I'm like, whatever we got to do, I don't want your money, I want your tool. So I go into their toolkit and say, I want that one, because I knew that was your hitter. So I need that one to get it out your hand so I could still be the best. So that was my passion, that was my purpose. I was driving to just be great, and I still carry that same energy every day. When I wake up, I want to be great.
My experience in cosmetology school was a little bit different. I didn't have the best experience. I hate to say it, but I did experience a lot of racism when I was in cosmetology school, not just by the staff, the director of the school, and also my classmates. Used to call me names that were obviously not my name, and it got to the point where whenever someone with a tighter texture hair would come into the school, they would automatically give them to me. And I think there's an assumption that in the Black community, everybody has intellect on how to do hair, right? That's not true. Like I said, I was coming from the criminal justice field, so I'm there to learn just like everybody else, but they put me in a leadership position that I didn't ask to be in, and I understand that I'm you know, I was good. I was better than a lot of people, and not to take away from anybody, but I was put in positions that I should not have been in, and I kind of had to fight through cosmetology school. If I wanted to be something and get back everything that I felt like they were trying to hold me back from, I had to just really push through, and I had to get myself in the mindset of, this is for you and nobody else. And just like with everything in life, everyone's not gonna like you, and everyone's not gonna like what you do. So you have to take yourself, like for example, when John said, like, I wanted to be the best, you gotta wanna be the best for you. You can't want to be the better than this person or better than this person, because your intentions are not pure in that. You have to want to be the best you that you have the capacity to be. And so that's where I had to kind of shift my mindset, and I just kept going. I kept pushing, and I'm doing a lot better than a lot of the people that were trying to keep me out of these places. So I think to piggyback off of John, you just really have to get in that mindset. You have to get in that hunger, and you can't let anybody take you from a vision that only you can see.
It's really having tunnel vision. I think that takes a lot of strength to, one, being committed to school and trying to see it through, but also you have all these obstacles, maybe not in the most psychologically safe environment, but still trying to maintain a balance and all of that. So speaking of, you know, the gaps within the textured education, I think John can really speak to that with an initiative that we partnered up with.
Yeah, so I don't know if you guys are aware, but Salon Centric and L'Oreal has put this initiative called Texture of Change out there. And Texture of Change is to get education for textured hair on the state exams, which then will make it have to be taught inside the education field of the schools. And so I was one of the artists that had a blessed opportunity to be picked to be a part of this whole mission and movement. And I'm super thankful, because I travel around the world speaking at schools, and the cycle has to be broken. And the cycle is, they take the best student, in the case it could have been Tonisha, and they're gonna tell Tonisha, hey, we wanna hire you at the front desk and make you a mentor. So now you got this student that thinks, oh my goodness, they value me so much, they wanna hire me, instead of saying, hey Tonisha, go out and get some experience, go do more things, go explore the world in the beauty field, and then come back to us if you want to teach or if you wanna be involved with what we got going on. And so Texture of Change is doing just that. The bill in New York was just passed that texture education will be inside the school curriculums and on the board. So that's a beautiful thing. So the petition is out. So I don't know if you guys signed it or haven't signed it, want to know more about it, please check it out and sign it and pass it to your friends. If you're gonna text somebody today, text them something that's gonna actually help create history.
I agree with that too, because I feel like it's our job to be a voice, not to put that responsibility on us, but I feel like if we're going to do it, we have to do it. So now we're in a position to where we're not just making sure their hair is healthy, like we have to educate our clients as well. So having us in certain positions and having people in certain positions that can help push textured hair, like it's a collective effort. Like it's all a collaboration, and we all have to work together. So we really do have to focus on being a voice. Again, it's a responsibility that, you know, as a Black person, we have to do more than what we want to do. You know, it's like every day somewhat it's a fight to be heard and to be understood and to be trusted in a lot of ways. But you can't quit. You have to be loud about it, and we have to be that voice, because if we're not loud about it, nobody else will be.
Mm-hmm. And can I say something else to that? Yeah. And just something else to add to that. If we all take a moment to look around the room, everybody in here has textured hair. It's all different texture.
All different.
So people are quick to judge when we say textured hair by color of skin. Mm-hmm. It's not. Textured hair is anybody who has some kind of wave or pattern in their hair. So when we talk texture, it's important because we got kids coming up that are biracial. Mothers don't know how to do their hair. Fathers don't know how to do their hair. It's our responsibility to keep pushing and pushing and pushing so that everybody can feel their most beautiful self.
And even just to add to that, even from an on-set perspective, so if it's New York Fashion Week or during a professional show, making sure, one, that there's proper representation with like models, but also the staff and people who are there to do hair and makeup can work on a variety of hair fabrics and textures.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think too, I was having a conversation last night with someone, and when you look at the world of Hollywood, right? The world of Hollywood, you have people winning Emmys and all of these things, and they don't know textured hair. And so they're winning these type of high-end, getting rewarded, but don't know. So they don't have to do because they're already getting the accolades. And so to me, that's what the whole texture of change is about. Pushing the agenda to make sure that everybody know how to satisfy everybody. If an artist is on set and don't know how to do something, then what about the model? What about the actress? What about the actor that now has to go on camera and not feeling their best self? We all know Deion Sanders tell you, if you look good, you play good. It's the same thing in life. If you look good, you feel good, you're gonna perform good. And that's what it's about.
Do you have anything to add?
Go ahead.
Okay, well, I definitely invite you all to sign that petition, and after this event wraps up, we will have a QR code available to sign it. I really encourage that because, it's amazing that we're able to live in this current time where these changes are happening, but for you guys and as well as others who've experienced the school journey, I'm sure that transition, can be a lot to fill in those gaps after you graduate and you're starting this professional career, but you may not be equipped with all the information, and school should be the foundation where you learn it. So it's definitely having to have that continuous learning, but making the effort to make time for it. So It's definitely very exciting we have this now, but also I commend everyone who is still having to go through the fight of not having the proper resources.
Yeah, and to be honest, everything that I learned in cosmetology school, I had to relearn it on textured hair, because in cosmetology school, they don't teach you a lot of the effects that things can have on different curl patterns, because while everyone's hair is the same, everyone's hair is also different. So having to not just go to school once, but to feel like you have to go to school twice once you actually get in that career field, it's a whole nother ball game. So like you said earlier, like getting out there and getting that experience is very important. Don't be afraid to try something new, because you never know what you can create, what doors you can open for everybody else. Because I feel like personally, our generation is that shift. Like, I feel like we are that middleman that's taking the spritz and mixing it with Curology. Like, we making it all work now. So yeah, just that continuing education is very important. Don't be afraid to take something that you learn, even if you didn't learn it on a certain texture, and relearn it, make it work for you.
Absolutely. And if you both can touch more on that with like the transition. So how was that, like whatever year it may have been, John graduating, Tonisha graduating, how was that to actually graduate and then starting your professional career? What all came about that?
Okay, so when I was in cosmetology school, I did have a salon that was waiting for me to get my license. Just kept reaching out, so I gave it a shot, and I soon learned within 3 weeks of having a license what was and what wasn't for me, and I wasn't afraid to make that work for me. So I worked in that salon for a couple of weeks, and it was a lot of sacrifice in doing so, but I'm grateful for it because it showed me like what I don't want to do. And I think we get so afraid of doing something that we don't see everybody doing that it keeps us from doing it too. So outside of me working in that salon, I've been on my own ever since for all 10 of my years. I used to work late nights in my sister's studio when she wasn't there, just so I can start building clientele. It was mornings where I would leave at 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning because I just wanted it that bad, and I had to create a space and a lane for myself. So that transition from cosmetology school to me actually being in the industry. It wasn't the easiest, but at the same time, I'm a very confident person. So I already knew that I wasn't gonna give myself a plan B. Like, this had to work, you know, this was it for me. I'm not gonna go into it with the mindset of if this fails, because I know I don't have failure in me. So that transition from being in cosmetology school and just finding my place in my business and structuring in my business, it wasn't the smoothest, but at the same time, every bump that I hit on the way to where I'm at now is the reason why I'm here, you know? So you gotta take the potholes and the flat tires, you know, you just gotta take them as they come and, you know, keep it moving.
That's a dope answer. And shout out to your sister for allowing you to do that.
I know, she all right.
She great too. For me, the transition was different. You know, I went to a very, very hood barber college in Long Beach, California. Fire coming out the roof, school closed, and then I went into the best shop in the city, right? And when I got to the best shop in the city, the barbershop vibe is totally different. You know, I'm outworking everybody because, like I said at the top of this, I want to be great. So if our doors open at 8, I'm showing up at 6. I don't party. I ain't out drinking. So I'm to the grind. And then you get clients that was other people's clients that notice that you're showing up at 6 in the morning. And just a little advice: you never know if your client is willing to pay extra to come earlier if you don't ask them if they're willing to. And so I started coming in at 6. And then I start getting other people clients that wanted to come sit in my chair. And then I started making more money because why? I was showing up early. I was staying later. But then when I got into the world of education, I started hearing people say, oh, he's really good at texture hair, but he can't cut straight hair. He can't pick up no scissors and cut no hair. I said, ooh, I like this challenge. This was cute. And so, right. And so I turned around, period queen. So I turned around, I turned around and I said, well, if this is the only thing that you could knock me for, I'm gonna make sure when you knock, I'm gonna open the door. And so I went and found an opportunity with a scissor company. That's all I could do. Only thing I could do was educate. I knew how to educate. I knew how to cut hair. I understood cosmetology. So I said, if I could cut a straight line, I could make something work. And I just kept practicing. Every class that I taught, I used it as practice. Now what can you say? I didn't win a NAHA because I could only pick up a pair of clippers. I won a NAHA because of everything that I said I wanted to be great at. I put that mind to it. And so still to this day, I actually enjoy cutting hair with scissors more than I do with clippers. Because to me, that's a real art form. Anybody could pick up a pair of clippers and do a fade. But what happens when you go to the... Well, if you come sit in my class, I'll teach you. I'll get you right by the end of the day. But that was the transition for me. If you're gonna tell me I'm only good at this, then let me show you I could go be great at all of this. And that was my focus. And so that transition for me was harder because for me, I know how hard I've worked to even just be considered one of the greats with clippers in my hand. But then I had to work 10 times harder to be able to say I could do everybody hair. But I'm gonna ask you a question. When was the last time somebody else had to be great at everything in order to be considered great?
Do the answer for us?
Nah, that answer can't be said.
That's a loaded question.
Yeah, for real. But that's just the thing. Like, other people get opportunities to be great, but a lot of us gotta work and work and work and work at everything to have an opportunity to be great, or even to just get close to even being mentioned as somebody that's great.
To be considered.
To be considered in the conversation of like, this person is actually really great at what they do. But you just knocked the fact that I just spent so many years being great at this, but because I wasn't great at that, then it doesn't make me great at anything. And that's not the standard.
So with that said,
There you go.
what I will say to you guys is don't prove anything to anybody but yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to get anywhere. Don't try and please everybody. Don't try and prove anything. The only person that you have something to show is you. That's the only person it should matter to. If you want to learn a skill, learn it for you. Then go from there. If you want to anything, just do it for you, because nobody's going to be as invested into what you can see for yourself as you are. So if you're not getting the feedback that you're looking for, that's fine, keep going. These are people's opinions, and at the end of the day, opinions are like follicles, y'all. Everybody got one, okay? So it's irrelevant, just keep going and doing it for you.
Yeah, and just to tie into that as well, like, when you really think about it, we spend so much time trying to prove everybody wrong. Instead of trying to prove people wrong, prove your supporters right. Mm-hmm. Focus on the positive. The people that tell everybody about you, those are the people you focus on. It's just like when you're in the salon and you get a bad Yelp review. You spending so much time trying to correct that bad Yelp review or find out what was wrong with that one. Yep. What about the thousands and thousands of reviews that's all good? Man, one person ain't gonna stop that show. So keep working on proving the people right that's constantly speaking of your name in a positive light. Show them that support and show them what they're doing for you matter.
Okay, so a couple things to say. One, it sounds like pressure makes diamonds. Okay.
Ari's gonna bust a pipe.
But also, on the thread of support, how has community really changed the trajectory of your career? How has the support from, whether it's like another sweet stylist, when you're on the road, how has community really impacted you?
That's a great question. How has community impacted my career? My community is my family. That's who I gotta wake up and do it for every day. So my community is my family here in the room today. My two sisters, Ann Mosley, Crystal, my wife, my son. You see me on the road, you're gonna see me with my family, my brother Larry. I travel with my family, and that's great. But then along the way, those are the people that believe in me. So when they speak highly of me, it automatically brings community to me. And it allows people to sit in the room with me, sit down, have conversations. I'm willing to help anybody in this world out, but you gotta show me that you're willing to help yourself first. And so community to me, it's important because as we continue to grow and we continue to reach new heights in our career and what we're trying to do, it's gonna take a community. We all heard it before, take a village. A village ain't nothing but a community. So it's like you build that impact around the people that support you, and those are the people that's gonna constantly put the wind underneath your wings to help you keep soaring. When you think there's a day that you just falling, it's gonna be somebody that's in your community that's gonna holler at you and just let you know, like, you know what, I appreciate what you did. I appreciate that post. You talking to me. I love what you're doing. When you get those kind of things, those are the community support. But also, being in a shop, especially in a barber shop, it's a lot of students are thinking like, hey, I want to jump out and I want to go into a suite because it's sweet. I want to be my own boss, and they still waking up to an alarm clock. So you can't be your own boss if you want to, you got an alarm clock. But I tell anybody, in order to continue to learn, you need the community of the shop and the salon in order to help you be the educator or be the stylist or be the barber, be the esthetician. You need that community in your space to continue to grow who you are and develop. My style of haircutting came from everybody. If I done seen your work on the internet and I liked it, I saved it. And I'm gonna go home and practice it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not afraid to admit that. Like, that's community. So we are all a part of an Instagram community that we don't even know people from around the world, but they're inspiring you through the Instagram community. And so community is big, but more importantly, family is big too.
I feel like there's two sides to community. I think as stylists, we can see that our clients are a big part of our community because they keep our business floating. And then we have each other, which personally, I feel like in the black hair industry, I want us to lean on each other more. I want us to be more open to helping each other because I feel like it's a lot of fight in us getting help in general. And I feel like if we can just call or text or DM, email, something to one another, that'll solve half of our problems. But I feel like the community, as far as our clients go, for me, I've come to learn that my mom always tells me everything in life is temporary, right? Which is true. So I've gotten to a space where I don't hold on to my clients. I take what I need from them in those moments. And I allow them to take what they need from me in those moments, right? Because the minute we feel like we lost a client, we feel like we did something wrong, right? That's not necessarily true. They may have found someone more fitting location-wise, price-wise. Like, it could be a number of things as to why they chose to go to somebody else. So I've learned not to take that personal and to more so cherish the community that I have in front of me in those moments, because I feel like community is ever-changing. It's not something that's consistent. Granted, family, yes, that's something that you'll always have, but find community in your clients without feeling like you have to suffocate them and hover them and, you know, keep the leash short, because the same way we out here figuring it out, so are they. So appreciate your community in that moment and don't feel like it's a loss for you or for them because they found something that was more fitting. But over the past few years, I've really come to learn to appreciate, I call y'all my stylist sisters or my stylist siblings, because I feel like I'm starting to find more people who go through the same things as me, which is a really good feeling, because in this industry, it's so much misunderstanding. And I feel like people think our job description is like 1,000 things when all I really gotta do is your hair, honestly. So just to be able to vent to you guys, and be like, that's what this client said to me today. Like, or, you know, like someone disputes a charge, or you have a no call, no show. Like, we get it. You know, we can say that to our clients and they're gonna be like, oh, okay, girl, what you having for lunch? But no, it's like, girl, she didn't show for her appointment. Like, what? You blocking her or what? Did you charge her a fee? So I've learned to just really like get into the fact that like, y'all get me and I get, like, we get each other. And for me, that's so special. Like, that's the kind of community that I want. Cause, you know, a lot of people in here, we're social media friends and we never met before, but we have conversations on the internet. And I be reading y'all story like, girl, no, she didn't. Like, I was there that day. So I feel like that's a beautiful community to have too. So I say that to say, don't be afraid to reach out to the people that you follow on social media. Like, get to know people who are in your field too. So that way you won't feel so alone, because this is such a take kind of industry that it's good to have people who can pour back into you and who can just relate to you and say, you know what, girl, that happened to me too, but it's gonna be okay.
I'm gonna start calling you. I'm gonna be like, girl, you ain't gonna believe this.
As long as you don't call me after business hours.
You don't talk to your community after business hours?
No.
Okay, bet. I got you. I'll call you right before that 1 minute happens.
4:59.
But I love it because with community, I also think mentorship. So with stylists, there's so much range.
Right.
You know, we have our vet stylists, we have stylists who have some, you know, placement in the industry, we have some who are just getting out of school. So that all ties into mentorship and how we connect to each other. And what's so amazing about an event like this is essentially like a happy hour for stylists. Because when else can all of these stylists come together and really network and build true community?
Yeah.
And get some good food.
And that.
And some stuff. No, that's real. Like, I want to thank Salon Centric. You know, Katera, thank you for putting this amazing event on. The team in the back, thank you guys. Brooke, thank you for allowing us to have these type of open conversations and have these type of events to just keep empowering the industry. Not just, you know, skin tones, but the industry. Everybody needs to be a part. This is something that we all could walk away from and grow from and continue to turn that corner and keep pushing because, like you said, we're all community. We all need to network with each other. We all need to have an opportunity to talk to each other and become friends, love on one another. We all go through things. We all have them hard days, and, you know, and just something to put into perspective a little bit, speaking of community again, you don't know if the person that you're doing that hair in that moment, that could be their last hairstyle. You don't know what they got going on in their head that when they leave their chair, they could be going to commit suicide. So the more and more that we communicate with each other and pour into each other, the easier it is for us to start seeing the signs and having those conversations to help our guests, because we do take on that energy. That energy is transferable. And I know sometimes y'all just want to go home and be like, you know what? That was crazy. Yeah. But it's like we take the responsibility of putting that energy on us, but who else are we allowing into our community to talk to about all of those things that we see and that we hear? And, it's tough sometimes. So, yeah, thank y'all.
And just a few more points, we have some time. Going into the mental health aspect, so as a stylist, there's so many hats you're wearing. I know both of you, especially with maintaining and sustaining your social media careers, but also being an educator, and also with clients, having them vent to you. And it's like all these hats you're wearing, being a business owner, how do you find your balance?
Ooh, shut it down. Shut it down, y'all. I finally got to a point where, so I work collectively, I work 2 weeks out of the month. So I'll do a week of 3 days, a week of 4 days. Because I feel like there's no reason for America to need us 5 days a week. That just does not make sense. So I've gotten to a point where those days where I'm not working, I'm not working. And I feel like I've structured it to be able to do that because I make sure my clients have what they need before they need it. So it gives me that space to just breathe. And when I'm not working, I'm not responding to emails. Don't text me, don't call me, because I feel like there's an allotted time throughout the week where I make myself available to you. So if it's not that time frame, allow me space to regroup. So there's a very, very, very firm boundary when it comes to my business hours and hours that are not business, because if you don't create that boundary, I used to have people call me at 2 a.m. What can I do for you at 2 a.m.?
Not answer.
Go to the Waffle House.
That's what I'm saying. So it's like you have to put people in their place, and you have to demand your respect so that people do understand, like, okay, like, she's human too. Like, she doesn't have to be at my disposal whenever I need her to be at my disposal. She's just here to do a service, and that's it. And I feel like there's a time and a place for everything. So create your time and your place for everything. And once you do that, everybody will start to gather and rally around you. The people that are made to fit into your time and your space, it'll all come together. So don't be afraid to have those hard no's and those hard boundaries. If you don't want to do a service, don't do it. If it's something that you don't like to do, don't do it. If you don't feel like being available this day, don't be available this day. Who gonna whoop you? Nobody. So just create those boundaries and those hard no's and stick to them.
I love that because I think it is important that we set those boundaries, because our clients think like you could just call me anytime you want to. Ain't gonna happen, boss. What I've done, some of my practices that I've done, I've got a second cell phone, and that's my business phone. It's on from Monday to Saturday sometime, but at 7 o'clock it's off. You can't, your text will go through, but I see it in the morning. My regular phone goes on Do Not Disturb at 9 o'clock at night. So now I got my peace. For me to stay creative, I got a lot of hobbies. I love videography. I got a son we're on this football journey right now, trying to get him to college. So I'm at every workout with him, I'm recording his content. And I'm like, yo, if I could make my content work, let me make his work. So I find creativity in that. I love to cook, so I get at home and I tell my wife, you got 3 days off, I'm about to go in that kitchen and go crazy. But I find those things that keep me creative and keep my mind away from hair and doing all of that stuff, because it does wear us down. You know, like you said, we're educators. You know, we have our own brands. Everybody in this room has their own brand. You might not know it yet, but you are a brand. And then we're working with other brands. So it's like, yeah, some days it can get overwhelming sometime. I have an assistant, and I'll be like, yo, I don't want to talk at all about nothing once I see your face. So when I see you, we can't talk work no more. Like, we going to talk about being human. We ain't going to be a machine no more. And so I find those boundaries, and it has helped me out a lot. I'm not as tired anymore. I'm not like mentally drained. I feel fresh every day that I wake up. I feel like, yo, I could keep going, I could keep going, I could keep going, but I had to learn how to not keep going. And that's the key. Learn, we're all running a race, but the most successful people find their pace in their race. And when you find your pace in your race, you're gonna be more successful because you know how to run for you and not for anybody else.
Can I add to that? Boundaries also bring the fun back into what you're doing. If you don't have that boundary, people are going to run you straight to the ground. You're not going to have the energy to want to put your art out there. So y'all know what Badu said. Keep in mind that I'm an artist, okay? So keep in mind that you're an artist. Have things that keep you in that creative mindset. And I feel like too, sometimes as artists, we have to shut the world out because our art in general is so inviting. So be able to close the door, you know, flip the sign, we closed today. But create those boundaries because that brings your that keeps your passion going. That keeps the fun in what you're doing. That keeps you like, oh dang, like I had 3 days off. For me, I'm excited to go back to work. Like I can create for 3 days. Now I get to go in here and wham bam, thank you ma'am. But let me tell you something, by day 3 or 4, I'm like, all right, God, keep me lifted, cause I'm tired. But yeah, those boundaries, they bring the fun back into everything. So just be okay with just saying no sometimes and, you know, shutting the world out for a little bit because it refuels you and it brings you back to your center. It brings you back to who you are and it brings you back to where you produce your art.
Mm-hmm.
I love that because when I think of boundaries, you tend to think of boundaries you set for other people and parameters for them to fit in.
Right.
But it's also having boundaries with self because as an artist, you have to recharge. And what you are doing is art and all the other additional hats you wear, so you have to have that necessary time to recover and to stimulate yourself, to be excited about the thing you're so passionate about because I've heard someone say this before, my job is not fun, I'm fun. So you have to bring the fun into it, and it can be easy to grow to resent something if you don't have that proper balance of maintaining like your physical well-being, but also your interest with it.
Agreed.
Yeah, definitely agree. I tell anybody that has been able to sit down and really talk to me, there's two type of people in the world. You're either gonna be a thermostat or you're gonna be a thermometer, right? And it goes to what you just said. Like, our jobs aren't fun sometimes, but we gotta bring the fun. And when I reference thermostat and thermometer, you're either gonna walk in a room and read the temperature and allow the temperature to stay the same, or you're gonna come in a room and allow yourself to change the climate of that room and make it a fun, enjoyable environment for yourself, right? And so that's what I try to do. When you see me at a show, everybody feet hurt at a show. Everybody feet hurt. But if you walking around with a smile on your face, it ain't that bad. Mm-hmm. So I'm changing the climate of my thoughts of how I want this room to be set up for me. When I walk into a space, I want it to be comfortable for me because that's the best way I can perform, and that goes into what you were just saying.
Another point?
Go ahead, my girl.
Oh, you. All you.
The floor is yours.
Well, I just really want to thank you both so much for being here and being able to speak about your lived experiences, being vulnerable, but also providing motivation for the future of stylists. And I guess to close this out, there's so much knowledge you all have gained throughout the course of your careers and still so many new things to learn. But what is a piece of advice or something you wish you could have told your younger self? If you could share that.
Ooh, damn.
Ooh. Something I would tell my younger self.
A lot of things, I know. Just think of one.
For me, it would be keep doing what you're doing. Growing up, you know, people keep you in a child's place. So people make you feel like what you're doing is not important or it's not relevant. And I think this is such a fun industry. So it's a lack of seriousness that comes from the opposing side, but I would tell my younger self, just keep going. The world is yours. The world is literally what you created to be. Yeah, just keep going. That's what I would tell my younger self.
I would say with an undeveloped mentality, you can't worry about somebody else's time frame. And so for me, it would have to be, respect my journey, respect my process, and put my time stamp on me, and not looking at somebody else's timeline and figuring out, why am I not in their shoes? Because the moment that you start asking, why are you not in somebody else's shoes? That's the reason you really realize that that's why you're not in their shoes. Because you focus on their shoes and not yours. So keep walking in your steps, keep walking in your pace.
And your purpose.
And your purpose. But more importantly, know who you are and continue to live who you are and make yourself better for you and the people that you choose to have around you.
Beautiful. Well, thank you both so much. And if you all aren't already, please make sure to give John and Tonisha a follow. There's still so much more fun to have at this event. We have a succulent workshop by Posey Exchange, so you guys can bring a succulent to your home or your salon. We also have a gifting station. Our Black-owned and founded brands available in our marketplace have donated gratis, so super grateful for all those that have donated. We also have sounds from our DJ Casper. We also have some more sips and bites available on the grazing table, so enjoy, and thank you all so much.
Can I say one more thing?
Yes.
It's a lot of talent in this room right now, and I feel like we all have something for somebody else in this room. So I really want you guys to use this moment to grow and to connect with people. And I want to extend myself, because I know I invited a lot of you guys here, and I wanted to extend myself and say, use me. I want to be helpful where I can be helpful. If you feel like there's something that I have more skill in or more knowledge in, and that you could use some help in, use me. That's what I'm here for. At the end of the day, the gatekeeping phase of the industry is a wrap. And if we want to get somewhere, we have to help pull each other up. So use each other too. Don't be afraid to connect with somebody that you didn't know when you came in here today. But we're here to make some noise for textured hair. And so, y'all make some noise.
Yeah, and just to second that, I'm here as well. I'm here. You could message me, you could come up to me and talk to me, whatever you need. I'm here as help. And just, I want to leave you guys with this. Always remember, when you open yourself up to allow people to come in and ask you for help, there's a difference between use and abuse, right? So be cautious of how many people are trying to abuse you and how many people are trying to use you. Because we use things every day, but we don't abuse things every day. So be cautious of that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's it. Yeah, and you did. I thought we loved it.
What's up, y'all? It's Tonisha. I'm here at Salon Centric Education Loft. We just wrapped up Coffee and Culture with my boy John Mosley. The event was amazing. We got into some knowledge in regards to the black hair industry. We got into some just uplifting the stylists that were in the room with us. And it, all in all, the event was absolutely amazing. I hope everybody's leaving here with some motivation, some education, and just a little bit more connecting with people who can, help them in the areas that they lack in. So until next year, we did it, y'all. We did it, y'all.
What's up, everybody, man? We just had an amazing event here at the Salon Centric headquarters in St. Pete, where we talked about culture, but we had coffee. So the title of it was Culture and Coffee, or Coffee and Culture, however you want to say it. But I'm super thankful for everybody that showed up for this event. It's really important that we continue to have this conversation about texture hair, but more importantly, just uplifting our industry, growing our industry and making our industry better. So as you can see, we got flower making behind us so that we can continue to bring life into any room we walk into. We just had our panel. we had food, we had everything. But more importantly, make sure you keep supporting Salon Centric, keep pushing the narrative, because at the end of the day, we all have a purpose and we all have passion. And our passion and our purpose in this industry is people. So thank y'all.